I remember earlier of the year when people asked me that, oh, so when is your next trip? I'm going to UK for nothing. I said, wow, so cool. You're going there to do nothing. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, right.
The perfect pun, but...
Hello guys and welcome to What the Click episode 67. My name is Adam Lobo.
My name is Vernon. Great to be back.
So for this week's episode, we are doing a video follow-up based on a very interesting situation and also a very interesting title that Abang Vernon has come up with, which is, what if your ex was still hot in year 2026?
Yeah, I'm sure some of us still have some hot exes.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I'm not going to comment since my wife watches this video.
My wife is watching too.
Oh, she does. That's good. Anyway, the whole context of this idea is that we release our main video on our main channel. Actually, release our video on our main channel where we revisited 4 ex-flagship phones, which we have here on the table. Now, just to give you all context on why exactly we produce this video is because once in 6 months, the team it could be either me or Nicholas or anybody who will help to go through our showcase of smartphones. And that's why we have like smartphones going way back since year 2019 or so.
Yeah.
And then we update the software and also to make sure that there's no physical damage, there's no display damage and all that kind of stuff. So out of all, the one which survived are the ones on this particular table, except one thing that Nicholas found after we shot our A-roll is that the Google Pixel 8 has a small issue with the display at the camera notch area.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So take that for something that you need to know. You can see, and so later on when we talk through the video. So basically, when you see how it's not a perfect circle, like the band.
What? Why is it like that?
Yeah. So we cannot show you how it looks. So basically, instead of a perfect circle, not the band, there is like a slight, like the notch is a bit bigger.
But my question is it a physical, mechanical thing or is this software?
Yeah, it's purely dead pixels. I just want to say it.
Okay, this is the first time I've ever seen such a thing.
It's sad because I almost sold this phone to Nicholas before he joined us.
You should have sold it to him.
That could be a hook.
And just hope he doesn't notice it.
Yeah. So let's go through the phones.
Interesting.
And since you're holding the phone, give us the lowdown of the Google Pixel 8, Abang, to just refresh everybody's mind on the Google Pixel 8.
I mean, number one, this was actually named by Marques MKBHD as Phone of the Year in 2023.
Yeah.
That was just 3 years ago, not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and today, my impression of it is that it still looks so good.
Yeah, it does.
For a 2023 phone, I think it has aged well. There's a IP68 rating, on the exterior, 120 Hz OLED, which is not shabby at all in 2026 either. Really top-tier haptics. And the good thing about this, because it's a Pixel, it's running the latest Android 17.
That's beautiful.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to talk about how much can you get one in the market as a pre-loved and stuff like that, 980 to about 1,800 ringgit. Well, 1,800 is still a lot for 20.
It is because, so here's the context of the video, of course. Now, the reason why we put it here, not only because it survived, but it's also phones that you can get below 2,000 ringgit, which you can find on Carousel and Muda, not sponsored, but Carousel and Muda, if you're watching this video, hello, let's talk.
Please sponsor us.
Yeah, because we do have a lot of similar videos that I think we are the only ones in the tech scene in Malaysia who does these revisits very often. So the context about this particular phone, again, I couldn't say it in our video because didn't wanted to waste a lot of time. I went to Australia to buy this phone. So I was in Australia having like a typical holiday with the wife.
But is it because at that time it was not available in Malaysia and not even in Singapore, was it?
it probably was available in Singapore, but so happened I was in Australia. And what's best buying from Australia is that, you have the tax deductible stuff.
Right.
So eventually I got the phone for a very decent price compared to typically just buying it online or even buying it from Singapore. Because Singapore you still do get that, but it's not as good as how Australians does it. So I remember it was a Melbourne trip and I was like, oh my God, the Google Pixel 8 is here. And what we have done is that we've been reviewing Google Pixel phones since the Google Pixel 2 XL.
Yeah.
That was
And
my
you were a
very first
huge
Google.
fan, right?
Yeah, I was a huge fan and I still love that phone, one of my favorites. And since then, what we have been doing is that from the Google Pixel 2, we started reviewing the base Google Pixel just to introduce how Google Pixel should be used and why you should use a Google Pixel phone. But as year progressed, it was getting lesser and lesser impressive. But I think among all of the Google Pixel phones, I really had a special spot for the Google Pixel 8 because just when they were almost going backwards, because I think it was the Google Pixel 4 whereby they decided not to have an ultra-wide camera. One of the Google Pixel versions that they had a main camera and they had a telephoto lens, and then they made fun saying that who needs an ultra-wide lens, and then Marcus Brownlee obviously called them out. So the Google Pixel 8 I felt was like finally Google getting things right. And it was a very good phone and I really like it, but unfortunately there is a dead pixel there, so which means that I do not know what to do with this phone. Do I sell it to y'all?
so
If you guys are
weird.
interested, let us know in the comment section below. So this is one of the things that y'all should know specifically. Other than that, of course, one of the biggest complaints, even for someone like Nicholas, who was previously a Google Pixel user before he switched to the iPhone, is Google Tensor. So Google Tensor is the biggest weakness for Google phones in general because it's not a chip that is really set out to perform very well.
Yeah.
So that is one of the biggest
It was
issues.
always about NPU and it's about driving AI, right?
Yeah.
And machine learning on the phone. So Tensor was never always at any time on the same level as Apple Silicon or even Snapdragons of the world.
Yeah.
And I think Google has continued that path even to today's Pixel 10
Yes.
and Pixel 11 coming.
Exactly.
So you're not going to see Google talking about raw performance per se, and don't expect this to be like a raw performer in any sense. I'm not saying it's slow. It's not going to be slow. It actually feels very fluid using the phone. But yeah, that's Google's thing for Pixels with the hardware. And talking about hardware, RAM wise, this has 8 gigabytes of RAM. For storage, 128 or 256.
I got
gigabytes.
128 because it was the cheapest. Right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, you won't go wrong with Google Drive and all that stuff, right?
exactly.
Rear cameras, as you mentioned, has a main camera which is a 50 megapixel. It's a wide megapixel camera and a 12 megapixel ultra wide
Yeah.
as a secondary camera.
Yes.
Yeah, front camera you get a 10.5, which is not great but not bad either.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
The battery was one of the biggest cons going ahead on this because it has, although 4,500 milliamps of battery is still okay.
Not shabby.
But I was surprised because the phone is not big, right? Meaning like it has a very nice form factor. But the screen on time that I was getting was like 3 hours, which is, It was really shocking. I do not know whether that could be a chipset issue. But I thought like,
I mean, for 4 nanometer chipset shouldn't
be that low, right?
Shouldn't
At
be
least
that
I
low.
thought like at least 5 hours. 3 hours is just too short. And I
coming
always
from Google, the
Yeah.
software hardware integration is supposed to be like
Yeah.
the best.
So that was my biggest gripe for the phone. Other than
Weird.
that, it was fine. Like we talked about the cons, but I think one of the biggest pros is the fact that it has the latest software update. Google Pixel 8 can still run on the latest Android, and that is really lovely to know. And if you're within the Google ecosystem, or if it's your very first Google smartphone that you want to use, this could be a very compelling option. Other than that, they still do have all of the AI related stuff like the Magic Eraser. There's also the Magic Editor for editing videos and stuff like that. Best Take is something that has been introduced only recently for other smartphones. Google did it first. Even the Magic Eraser was something that Google started first, and then every other brands did it. And it annoys me sometimes because there's certain features coming from smartphones, which is actually not the smartphone brand's feature, but it's actually a Google
The
feature.
Google feature, yeah.
So one of the biggest confusion came in the likes of the Samsung's Circle to Search. When it was first introduced, a lot of people thought that Circle to Search was a Samsung feature. But I always told people that it was Circle to Search with Google because, yes, it was first introduced on a Samsung phone because the S series was always released early of the year, right?
But I
It's
guess that's the pros and cons of Android, because Android as the platform, right? So partners would either adapt or
yeah,
modify. from
absolutely.
there.
I totally agree with you. But for me, I think all in all, if you can find a very good, decent price, like if you can really overlook, again, I don't think you guys can see this clearly. Nick, just go into the other camera. I don't think you can see it clearly.
Yeah.
Maybe if you zoom in after the fact. But yeah, so basically, instead of having a full nice circle there, it has like a
It's
like
very
a wobbly.
organic.
Yeah, it's very
It's
organic.
very organic.
Yeah. I'll put the brightness. Let me just try to see.
Well, I think it looks quite cool. It's not.
There you go.
It doesn't look like a defect.
I do not know whether you can see this. But yeah, it's very sad. In the end of the day, haptics is one of the best, if not the best on any smartphone right now when it comes to Android smartphones because it feels so good. It feels good in a hand. Even when it comes to gaming, when you hold the phone like this for a long period of time, it's also very good. So yes, 3 hours of screen on time was the biggest gripe on this, but you can find it on the second-hand market between 980 to 1,800 plus, but definitely below 2,000 ringgit,
Yep.
which I agree with Vernon because 1,800 ringgit is still a little on the high side
Yeah.
because you can get brand new phones for about that kind of figure, especially for the video that we did below 2,000 ringgit, right? So yeah, that's the Google Pixel 8. Did barely survive because now that the display is like that, so technically it did not really survive our smartphone shelf. The next phone that we're going to be talking about is a very interesting phone. This time around, I will talk about the specs, which is the HUAWEI P40 Pro Plus. Now, this phone has a very special place in my heart. The reason why, because it is one of the two phones that we are going to feature here, which has a ceramic back. So instead of typically having a glass back, they have a ceramic back. And because you all know, if you watch our main channel, I love white color smartphones. Hence why my iPhone is white color. And also why I love the Z Fold 8's cream color, even though it's white technically. And this phone was the phone that was with me throughout the first period of the MCO. I was using this phone a lot because that's the time I did a lot of content. Just go through the specs first and foremost. This was launched in the year 2020, like I said, during the pandemic season. Used market, you can get this for 2,000 ringgit, which also is on the higher side.
Yeah,
But
it is
remember,
quite high, isn't it?
remember that this phone has 5 cameras. So that time it was the only, and probably even fast forward to year 2026. Can you find a phone now that has 5 cameras? So that's one thing. But usually all these extra cameras on other smartphones are all nonsense, like your macro lens, your color depth camera,
Yeah.
your grandmother lens.
RGBW, whatever.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. But these were really properly used lens. Like for example, the camera has a 50 megapixel main, a 40 megapixel ultra wide. Then there's also another periscope lens and also a telephoto lens. And there is a 3D depth sensor. That is how you do that shallow depth of field. So that's why it's called a penta camera setup. The display is really gorgeous. It is one of the still surviving curved screen, no dead pixels. I love the fact that this is also a phone which has 2 front cameras, a feature which only one Samsung phone used that feature and then it decided to stop, which is right here, which is great.
I was going to say that it looks a lot like a Samsung S10 Plus.
Exactly, which is right here, which is quite
From the
interesting.
curves, the front
Yeah,
and the back.
it does.
Maybe the camera isn't the same.
It does.
The
And
front looks exactly
this
the
is using the Kirin 990 chipset, which is a 7nm plus because of the fact that the whole Donald Trump issue, so they couldn't get the components enough for them to make a
7nm
brand new
is
chip.
better than 17nm.
Exactly. Battery is 4,200 milliamps, but what I can remember is that even though 4,200, EMUI software has always been great when it comes to battery optimization. But the biggest issue, which is weird and was sad, was the fact that when I was using this in year 2020, there was access for me to get Google Apps into it. It was pretty easy. I used G-Space, and that time was Gbox. But when I started revisiting this phone last week, the Google apps are there. You can download it, but you just cannot log in to
Right. So
Google
because there's
account.
no update to the
Probably.
the new GMS.
So it sucks because I remember like really appreciating and using this phone daily during the pandemic season. And right now, there's no way for me to have this to work. Probably it's because I stopped using it and then I used again. Somebody commented in our video to say that, oh, for me it works. I have Gbox and it works. So good for you. But unfortunately for us, when we turn this on again, you couldn't get the Google apps to work. However,
what if you downgrade? Can you downgrade
yeah,
to
it is
an
possible.
older version of the firmware?
It is possible. Now, every time when we review a Huawei phone, they have always told us that if you're having any software issue, you can always approach their service center to go through and tell them that, look, I bought this phone in year 2020. I had Google Apps then, but now I do not have it. But unfortunately for us, because if you turn on and off the phone, it's actually a demo unit. There is a disclaimer to say that this is a demo unit. So if I were to go to the store, they'll be like, bro, you are a reviewer, so I cannot help you on that perspective. But anyone who has bought the phone, if you have any issues like this, the good news is that Huawei will entertain you, meaning like they will support you. They will try to make sure that you get the apps that you want to do. And once the app is installed for the very first time, you don't have to worry about going back again. On the current Huawei Pura 90S Pro Max, the software update comes in frequently. It comes in automatically. You don't have to do it manually. So that is something which we can appreciate Huawei devices. And since 5G is back again on the Huawei Pura 90S Pro Max, which means that you will start seeing a proper rise of Huawei phones again. Like I mentioned earlier, that it is a very unique phone. It has IP68 dust and water resistant. The biggest pro is of course the cameras, fast charging, 40 watts wired and wireless as well, which is still industry standards even in year 2026.
Not shabby. Yeah.
Because in year 2026 or so, you barely find 40 watts of wireless charging these days, right? When it comes to the cons, like I said, because it's using EMUI 12 and with not easy access of Google, or you can access Google but you just cannot log in into that. So that's the biggest problem, and it is still a very high price. And the reason why it's on a high price is because of how premium the phone feels. Like you can just hold it. It doesn't feel cheap.
Yeah,
it
still feels very good.
It's an X, right? So this is a proper definition of a hot X because it still looks hot.
This X is still so curvy.
And the X is a bit complicated because she doesn't allow you to log into Google.
Yeah, she doesn't let you do certain things.
And some men or girls like the idea of complicated relationship, right? So
it is a little bit complicated. Yes.
So it's like you're going into a toxic relationship with the Huawei P40 Pro Plus.
Yeah,
But what do you think of I want to know what are your thoughts about the ceramic back?
No, it's beautiful. I mean,
Right?
I'm also a fan of the ceramic backs. Always look very good. Yeah, overall build quality is amazing and looks good. It doesn't look dated.
Yes, exactly.
Even
Good
to
point.
this,
Yeah.
same goes
6 years.
Same goes with the Pixel 8. It still looks like a modern phone that you
Absolutely.
want. People are not going to question you whether using an old phone or not.
Yeah,
So
so
pretty good. Nice.
of course the Google thing you have mentioned many times in the podcast.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I cannot recommend a Huawei phone unless you really want to dive into installing Google GMS.
So
and
you're
stuff
telling me
like
you're
that.
still not convinced with the likes of the newer phones, like for example the Pura 90S Pro Max. Why? Because you can use Google already, man.
I don't know. I'm still not comfortable with it.
Because you think that at the back of your head that one day it'll disappear like this.
Yeah, I feel like there is a little bit of a risk in terms of the long-term viability of it. Maybe the new ones will change my mind. I don't know.
Or do you think that once the US makes an official announcement per se to say that, hey, moving forward now
That
Huawei
will
can use
only
it.
happen if
Yeah.
something changes.
Yes, of course.
Majorly.
But if that happens, then you have the full confidence that you would recommend a Huawei phone to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, Huawei phones in those days,
Beautiful.
the P series,
Beautiful. Yeah.
the Mate,
Yeah.
they were amazing phones.
Yeah.
Amazing in the camera department, amazing in design and raw hardware specs. They were so good. But unfortunately, they've been dumped into and pushed into a corner, and it's kind of hard to get out of it because it's
Very
just
good point.
so major in terms of the restrictions.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's hope that changes. But yeah.
Talk to us about the next phone, which is the Xiaomi 12T Pro.
Oh wow! I mean,
Here's a
before we even go to the verdict, I think this is an incredibly strong contender,
Definitely.
even if it's a 4-year-old phone.
Yeah.
And the good thing about it is with a lot of the Xiaomi devices, that you can get it really cheap. In the market, $650,
Walao.
and it tops out at 1,200 ringgit. Which
That's
is,
the max, right?
Yeah,
And it's
still
madness.
very good for so much phone. This is so much phone even in 2026. And if you've watched the video where Adam was talking about all the 4 phones, for me, this came out very strong on top. I don't want to jump into a verdict yet, but this is really strong. I'm just going to give you a very quick breakdown of the specs. Display, amazing, 6.67-inch AMOLED, 120 Hz. You get the whole shebang, Dolby Vision, HDR10+. I think it's very consistent with a lot of the flagship phones at that time,
Yeah.
having Dolby Vision and HDR. Gorilla Glass 5, not shabby.
Yeah.
Hasn't
For
been
a
dropped.
T series, so
No micro scratches, which is amazing. There's a lot of fingerprints, but no micro scratches. Powering this device, processor-wise, Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, which is a 4nm chip.
beautiful.
8 gigabytes or 12 gigabytes of RAM, depending on the variant that you buy, and up to 256 gigabytes of UFS 3.1 storage. There's no micro SD storage, which is okay. And in terms of the camera department, you get a triple array.
Yeah.
Very amazing for 2022 to have a 200 meg main camera.
It was the first ever introduced. I remember when they introduced
Yeah.
this, and 200 megapixel on a so-called mid-range. Because remember, we had this issue trying to place where the T series is going to be in the whole entire lineup.
T series was always this challenger, which
Yeah.
had all the best specs.
Yeah.
1.7 aperture, OIS, very big sensor, and the secondary cameras are a 8 megapixel ultra wide and a 2 macro, which I hate, but yeah, it's there.
Okay.
And the front camera is also very impressive, a 20 meg selfie camera,
Okay.
which is a wide one. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
That is nice. Battery is also quite amazing to think about it, because not only you had a 200 megapixel, but also there was 5,000 milliamps and also 120 watts of hypercharge. And remember, if you buy a Xiaomi phone, the charger comes inside of the box.
It's
So-
madness, 120 watts in 2022. Yeah. Crazy. I think the only drawback of this device is the limitation of the OS, where you're only getting up to Android 15.
Yep.
If you can live with that and HyperOS 3.0,
Yeah.
you should be totally happy with this. It supports 5G as well. So if your telco is, any of the telcos now, you'll be able to be hooked on the network, and perfect. You have a perfect life.
Exactly.
With a very hot X. This is probably the hottest X, I think, out of the 4.
Very interesting. For me, I would fully recommend for y'all to buy this, because with the entire price range of, 650, it's like madness. It's like, how can you get an ex-flagship phone like this? It's okay. The display looks beautiful as day one.
No, and the build quality for a T,
Yeah. It's so good.
it doesn't feel like a mid-ranger.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like anything less than a flagship. So,
Absolutely. It feels good. Screen is still very beautiful, as you can see on the next camera. So you can just see how lovely this looks like. So yes, just head on to Carousel or Muda or wherever you guys are watching or listening, and just look for the Xiaomi 12T Pro, because it's definitely the phone for you. Then last but not least is a phone which was released in year 2019. In year 2019 was 2 years
favorites.
after I had this YouTube channel. So this is also a phone which is very close to my heart, because when I was using this phone, it was the same time I got to meet Ben Affleck, because I had an interview with Ben Affleck in Singapore. And I remember I was using this phone, and he actually asked me, he's like, what phone is that? And then I told him it's a Samsung phone. He was like, wow, it looks better than an iPhone. That's his exact word. I didn't record what he said.
You should have recorded it.
It's the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. Released in year 2019. It is still one of my favorite phones because of the fact that there are a lot of things that this phone had which has disappeared completely on smartphones today. Number one is the headphones jack. Holy mother of God. Don't you miss that? Right? Yeah. Number two, SD card slot. The micro SD card slot you can expand all the way to up to 1 terabyte. Madness. The screen is beautiful, and I like how it is not so big, right? It's S10 Plus, but those were the days where an S10 Plus, and this is way before the Ultra came to fruition, right? So it is a 6.4-inch dynamic AMOLED QHD Plus. That's also something disappeared, because last time, like having a very sharp resolution screen was the shit. Now it comes to the point whereby it's okay we just do an FHD Plus because it does save battery, which is true. But sometimes you just want that extra quality. Imagine if you're watching a 4K video streaming on Netflix or streaming on Disney Plus, and when you're watching the video, I would want to upscale it or just scale it to the highest QHD Plus. And then after I'm done watching a video, then I go back. You get what I mean? But smartphones these days does not give you the choice. Like, for example, the iPhone does not allow you to change resolution at all. Right? It's like, okay, here you go. This is it. Right? But this was the time where you could really enjoy a QHD Plus display, which does take a significant amount of battery if you're just using it daily. But if you've got a power bank, it's fine. And this is also a pure reason and a pure explanation about how the Exynos chipset was fine. Because that time, this was the Exynos 9820, which is an 8nm chipset. But imagine this.
That.
It's still working very well. Now, the US version was using the Snapdragon 855, which is a 7nm, so it's not so far ahead. But when it comes to using this every single day, I had absolutely no issues at all. And this was the final and probably the only phone that Samsung had a 2 front camera, which was nice. And the 2 front camera was a 10 megapixel and also an 8 megapixel depth sensor. This is something that I also did not mention in our video as well. That's why we have this particular podcast. 4,100 milliamps of battery, which is not the highest. But again, because of the software optimization is great. So that's one of the reasons why. And this was when it was the first time when One UI was first introduced, and I got experience over here because this is at One UI 1.1. So that is one of the cons. But before we go into the cons, one very important thing to know from a pro perspective is that this phone, because of how old it is in the market, is that it's 549 ringgit. You can get this.
Still very...
The next pro is the fact that inside of the box, it comes in an AKG wired earphones.
I gave those away because a buddy needed wired
Mine
earphones.
is still nicely in the box,
but
and I don't want to
really
take
good.
it out.
It's really good. The AKG headset is really good.
It's so good, and also there's a OTG dongle, because this is of course the shift between Android phones going from micro USB to USB-C, or even the bigger USB-A for the chargers. So that's why even the charger did not have a USB-C port; it was a USB-A port. But the dongle was included in the box. The headphones was included in the box, which is really mind-blowing. Now, in terms of the cons, of course, one of the main things is the software, because it's capped at Android 9. But it's still Android, so it's still okay. You can live with that. And One UI is version 1.1, which is still smooth. It's still great. I don't see any issues here at all. And the another two more things is that there's one thing which I noticed when I pick it up is that the Bixby button, it became psycho. Probably, So
I've never seen that before in my life.
So I also never see. It's coming out, but it's not coming out. It sounds like it's how exactly Bixby is. Anytime can fall off. Like who uses Bixby? The new S series. When I went to unpack, they said that Bixby has the more
Improved.
on
It's not
device
2.0, right?
feature,
Yeah.
but I still do not use it. Maybe because One UI is so good that I already know, and like instead of me asking Bixby to increase the brightness, I can always just do it manually, which is so much faster.
That's true. But I
But
mean, the premise of Bixby in those days was that it had control of all the apps and all the
Yeah.
settings and all that stuff. So you
Correct.
could literally navigate your phone just using Bixby. And that
Absolutely.
was not available on other like
Yeah.
assistants.
Yeah.
Especially our favorite Siri.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So,
So-
Bixby was powerful that way.
Other than that, the other con is the fact that it has no 5G because the phone was released in the year 2019.
I don't think a lot of people care about that, but
Yeah, but
if
just so
you do,
you all
then,
know,
yeah.
just for context, that Samsung actually released an S10 5G later on as a only phone which has 5G.
Yeah.
But of course, the fact is that this is also one of the two phones, like I mentioned earlier, which has a ceramic back, which looks very beautiful. It's so nice.
I mean, in those days, there was like a trend, right? Everyone is like,
Yeah, and
had a ceramic
so
back.
here's one of the things whereby I felt like, why did you remove it? But yeah, there's a lot of things which is removed. But in the end of the day, with an amazing price of what the starting value is like 549 ringgit, would you recommend anybody to, or who are the kind of person that you feel like you would still recommend the S10 Plus to?
I feel as a secondary phone, it's fine. But as a main driver, it's going to be a little bit hard. Number one, the issue even with mine was battery life.
Yeah.
Being such an old device, you get depleted battery, which is normal, just physics, right?
Yeah.
Unless you get it changed, it's going to be really tough. It lasts less than a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So that needs to be changed.
So there is this very nice table which Vernon is very good at, right, drawing tables here. So it is a very quick final verdict and final recommendation. If you want the best price out of all of these flagships, of course the Samsung S10 Plus is the way to go. If you want the best camera setup, the HUAWEI P40 Pro Plus comes with a penta camera setup. But again, you are sacrificing the software side of things. When it comes to chipset and raw performance, the Xiaomi 12T Pro, and also I would argue that the cameras are also really good there. The charging speed again goes to the Xiaomi 12T Pro with 120 watts of hypercharge, where the charger does come inside of the box. 5G is supported across all of the devices except for the S10 Plus. And when it comes to the overall battery life, Xiaomi wins once again with about 6.5 to 7 hours of screen on time. And the overall deal breaker would be the fact that the Google Pixel 8 has very bad battery. Based on our test, there's no GMS or Google services, or you cannot log into your HUAWEI P40 Pro Plus. The Xiaomi 12T Pro is, of course, the overall build quality. Some may argue that the plastic frame is not the best, and certain things may feel a bit more basic, but to me, that's not a huge argument. So overall, out of all of this, I think I would echo what Vernon says, that the Xiaomi 12T Pro is the way to go among all of these four. And if you guys think that you have a particular favorite over here, let us know in the comment section below. Either watching the main video on our main channel, or you can always comment over here as well. So yeah, that is a very interesting video. If you guys would like for us to do more videos like that, do let us know and comment and check out our main channel as well. All right, let's go into the quick news mentions. We do have two news. One news was more of a product release, but the other news I was a little more excited. That one I want to go into the weeds of everything.
Sure.
So give us the two background. Abang.
Yeah, so let's quickly go on to the first one, which is CMF. Of course, you know, CMF is a sub-brand of Nothing. A couple of days ago, they've released their very first product for open wearable stereo, which are earbuds, which are clip-on your ears. Now, these are going to go head-on with a couple of products that are already in the market. Huawei has their free clip.
Shocks have a new
Yeah,
new ones
Shocks
as
have
well.
them. So the Huawei one is about 900 ringgit. We also have the very pricey Bose Ultra Open earbuds, which costs about 1,500 ringgit.
1499, holy God.
And Sony LinkBuds Clip, which was launched a couple of months ago, is for sale at around 800 ringgit. So they're moving away from the traditional in-ear silicone tips.
Yep.
Some people find that very uncomfortable. Like my wife hates it.
I just want to ask, do you know anybody who hates it? Okay.
Yeah,
got
my
it.
wife hates anything that sticks into the ear.
Okay.
Yeah, fingers, stuff like that. Toothpick.
Tongue.
Let's not go there. Yeah, so anything that clips on would probably be a better choice for her.
yeah.
And this is obviously one that is nothing is venturing into. And as with anything CMF, is going to be super affordable, priced very aggressively. So I think this was launched for about around 350 to 400-ish ringgit.
What are
It's
your
not available here yet.
What is your reaction to this particular launch? I mean, what was your first knee-jerk reaction when you found out about this?
The knee-jerk, it wasn't a knee-jerk, but it was something that we've always talked about. Nothing should be in audio. Nothing should make more audio products. And I think what CMF is doing here is growing and expanding that portfolio of audio products. And I think I like it. Funnily enough, it came from CMF and not from nothing.
That is my argument here. Because just when we talked, the CMF went to sleep. They woke up. I said, bro, by the way, we haven't slept yet. We have new earbuds. But what's interesting is that in our group chat, when you saw the teaser, you thought it was a speaker.
I thought it kind of looked like a speaker. Because
It does.
It,
And I would be more excited if it was a speaker.
they've cropped it so tightly that it looks like, a speaker grill.
Yeah.
But apparently it's not. So
Would you be excited with a CMS speaker instead of a
I think
earbuds?
CMF have nothing. I rarely what you said,
Yeah.
that they should be doing audio products because they're really good at it.
Absolutely. And I remember Nothing have these YouTube videos because they create YouTube videos and they did our own desk setup, right? So they had a bunch of things that they use on the desk. And then I don't know what speakers they use. And I was thinking hey, why don't they create their own speakers?
They easily could
They could.
make their Bluetooth
Because
speaker.
how Edify has that transparent speaker with a light inside, I'm sure Nothing can do something like that. And if there is a CMF or even a Nothing for a speaker, I am going to buy it no matter what. I'm not going to even think twice because I know that audio is their biggest strength.
Yeah. What if, that there's a memory issue, Ramageddon, whatever, not.
Yeah.
And CMF doesn't plan to release any smartphones this year. Correct? We saw it with the Nothing 4B.
Yeah.
And that's the
Which we
change.
still haven't gotten in.
Yeah, it's a change of strategy. What if CMF for this year, maybe a little bit more, just focuses on audio? Nothing focuses on phones because it's a bigger brand, right?
Again, I would
Could they
still,
be doing that?
Again, I would still argue that I still think that CMF should not be existed. From the get-go, they should just have one brand.
4B, 4C, 4D.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But as long as people know, because a lot of people still do not know. When we should do this experiment, right? We go around in KL
Asking them
and
about
ask
CMF.
people, have you heard of CMF? I guarantee you, a lot of people do not know.
LMF.
Even if you ask, LMF. I cannot say it because it's Chinese bad words. Even if you ask Nothing, I do not think that everybody knows about it. I remember when I was, but then again, it sounded funny lah. I remember earlier of the year when people asked me that, oh, so when is your next trip? I'm going to UK for Nothing. I said, wow, so cool, you're going there to do nothing. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, right.
The perfect pun, but
Yeah, there's so many puns to it. And then there's oh, what? No, I said, no, the brand is called Nothing. I said, there's a brand called Nothing. So already the brand is new. So I feel like CMF should not be existed unless...
not so soon.
Unless, like what you said, if CMF is a sub-brand of Nothing, which specifically does audio, then nice. So imagine all of the Nothing earbuds and all, it goes under the CMF brand marketing.
It's a little bit like a Beats, right? For
Yes, absolutely.
Although Apple has their
even
own.
Apple has AirPods. You don't see Apple having a separate brand. Why? Even Samsung has the A series, they have the M series. But why is there a CMF again? We know the answer. Kalpe has said it with his very frowny face when he explained it. No, because he gets you notice that when he does interview and people question certain decisions, he gets very agitated. He gets
because
very,
it's as if he didn't think about it
exactly.
already.
Yeah, I'm
and then
glad
come
you
up
say
with a
that.
decision,
Yeah.
right?
So it's
so frustrating
he
as a
gets very
CEO.
agitated very quickly. He can see it. And my point is that CMF should not be existed. If CMF existed, it should be a sub-brand of nothing, which does audio only, then it makes sense. Because you're confusing everybody.
No, because CMF for me exists because it is addressing the very kind of low end of the market. And then nothing wants to go a bit higher. So it goes mid-range and upper.
Then where does it put Nothing Phone B then?
Which is what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
right?
Nothing Phone B actually should not exist if CMS exists.
Yes. Yeah.
But since CMF is not releasing any phones,
Yeah.
you know, it makes sense for Nothing to come in. I know. It's a strategy that Kaupei needs to explain to all of us.
Okay.
Especially the two of us.
Yes. So what is the price of the CMF Clip Pro again?
I don't have the official pricing, unfortunately.
Okay. Then when is it going to be released?
It was launched on the 4th of August.
Or is there's an expected launch price which you put on our website? And by the way,
Yeah.
all the things that we mentioned over here, if you have missed it, is always on our website, which Abang Vernon here writes all the articles that you see together with Jefferson, which is at www.adamlobo.tv. Now, he did put that the rough pricing is between 350 to 450, and it is expected to launch locally in August.
It's about
which
100
we are
USD.
already in
Yeah.
August, so late August. What's a little annoying from a tech reviewer perspective is that we still haven't gotten our hands on the Nothing Phone B and also the new Nothing Phone, Nothing earbuds as well, which we had hands on, but we do not have it here in the studio. I couldn't try it yet. It was supposed to be in our labs end of last month, but apparently there's some shipment delays and stuff. So unfortunately, we do not have that. So it's a little frustrating because, you know, tech is getting so much more busier and we do not have the time.
So official pricing, pre-order,
Okay.
£79, which is about $80 US.
Okay. Yeah, which is like what you put the pricing
Yeah.
window here, right? So
When it gets here is about 350, 300.
All right.
Good price for a clip-on.
Okay.
Yeah. So next piece of news is something that
Oh, this is amazing.
we questioned Adam of Xiaomi Malaysia when we did the podcast session with him.
Yes.
Was why, my God, why Xiaomi didn't you bring the Pro Max and the Pro to Malaysia? And the latest, leading up to that, the latest news that we've read is that Xiaomi is finally going to end China exclusivity for the Ultimate Pro Max hardware, and it's going to come. It's going to be a global, not just Malaysia, but it's going to be a global
I love
device.
this. This is one of the best news for year 2026 because we love the phone. We love the potential of the phone. And I think even Xiaomi underestimated how
popular it
great
was.
and popular that the phone is. But I like the fact that they were a bit safe on this phone. Yes, we would love to get our hands on the Pro Max or the Pro and the Pro Max earlier, but now that they already have this indication that it's going to be launched globally, I am excited.
Yeah.
And
So the thing is, there's regulatory proof because they have released two unreleased products. So it's only the 18 Pro Max and also the 18. So Xiaomi 18 and 17 Pro Max. There's no Pro version that's going to be released globally.
Yeah.
So it's only two devices.
yeah,
Which is still good because I guess making it global means we will get to experience what's good about the Pro Max. Something that we've raved about but didn't get to, touch and feel it here in Malaysia. So that's good. It's great news, I think, for people outside of China. And also Xiaomi fans, especially.
And here's the rumored specs. The best thing is that we can talk a lot about rumors when it comes to stuff like this, which feels so good. Let's not start with the price because the price is going to be ganas. That is to be expected.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to talk so much on that. In terms of the CPU, Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6, which is rumored to have a 6 Pro, which is 2nm chipset. Holy mother of God. Rear camera is going to have the low-fic technology. Now, in case you all missed our Xiaomi 17 Ultra review, we did like 2 videos. Low-fic is a technology to bring out the highlights and shadows in every picture that you take, where it doesn't overexpose.
Right.
Because a lot of smartphone cameras loses the dynamic range when it comes to the highlights. That's why people like dynamic range. But this low-fig technology is like having an extra dynamic range for cameras. And that is why I feel, and I always say that the Xiaomi 17 Ultra is a very underrated phone because it released earlier this year. But as long as released lah, okay, so the Low-Fig 3.0 is going to be released in this. There's the rumor. There's also going to apparently have another 200 megapixel periscope macro camera, which means that you can switch between, which is amazing. Now, I like this combo because...
I like the combo.
You know why? Yeah. Because sometimes a lot of phones that have the so-called minimum close distance, but you still cannot get it in focus. Now, when it comes to periscope macro, you can zoom in without really getting close, and you get that perfect macro shots. Because imagine you're trying to shot.
To be honest.
So imagine you're trying to take a shot of a bee, for example, like a small, tiny little bee. You can't be going close to the fella runway. The bee is going to buzz off. Pun intended.
Buzz off. Yeah.
So it's like, it's like what the hell, right? So I like this idea, and again, I always, it's sad because again, all the other brands always takes like the cake because we release it end of the year, closer to the iPhones and stuff. That a lot of people forget about this. But now that the Pro and now that the Max is going to come out globally, I don't think people will ever forget it because Xiaomi is the only one which is going consistent with the screen at the back, so that is exciting. There's also a rumor about a freaking massive 8,500 milliamps of silicon carbon cell battery. Oh, that is going to be crazy and really exciting. Now, this has been a very long while since I'm very excited with the upcoming launch phone. Now, based on the previous track record, when it comes to Xiaomi, the flagship is always released early of the year. So I feel I'm a bit impatient because I want it to be released now. But at the same time, Xiaomi's got other things coming your way, like the Redmi series. We still haven't heard news from that yet, but stay tuned in this channel because we will review it, obviously. But yeah, I'm very excited. I know I've talked to you about my excitement, but I think the only thing that might be a bit more of a hindrance is the pricing, because the projected Malaysian price is roughly between 5,899 to 6,499.
But I mean, in line with the overall pricing of the flagships in Malaysia, I don't think it's anything outside of that. So whether you're getting a Samsung or an Oppo or a Vivo, it's going to be in that vicinity.
Absolutely.
Of 5 to 6 grand. And especially now that that the memory prices have really killed the market for any electronic devices, you are going to see that price hike no matter what.
It is also, thankfully, prior to the price increase, Xiaomi has always had a nice price factor anyway. Yeah. So right now, even with the price increase, the buffer is still very nice. It's still affordable. So if you go towards the so-called lower specs, like the lower storage and stuff, with the existence of great cloud platforms like Google Drive and all these different kinds of online ways of storing your footage and storing your photos, or even just getting a hard disk and just putting it into the port and just directly transfer, because the port speeds on Xiaomi has never been compromised. So I still think that it's still valuable and it is still very competitive with what is already out right now. So you are absolutely spot on that. Yeah. So yeah, let us know your excitement. Are you all excited with the potential? It's not confirmed, it's rumors, but based on what Vernon has done on the research, it does seem like it's going to be coming true. Of course, we can always drag Adam's butt here again and ask him, but he cannot answer. But yeah, let us know whether you guys are as excited as I am and Vernon are when it comes to the potential of the 18 Pro Max coming to global markets, no matter where you're listening to this, except for countries like US and stuff. Okay, let's look into the favorite segment of the whole entire time, and of course the whole entire podcast, which is Who Asked For This? Okay, it's my first time looking at this, so give me the lowdown, Abang.
All of us wear kind of wearables. Funnily enough, I forgot mine today. So we wear, smart watches, smart bands, smart rings.
What
blah,
is
blah,
this?
blah.
Holy God.
but this company called Titan Gauntlets. I know what you're going to say. This thing is very futuristic. It looks super futuristic, something from sci-fi. And maybe if you have ambitions to be Thanos, to snap your fingers to make 50% of the universe disappear, this could be something like it. Or at least it looks like it.
So it's like a giant, like a gauntlet thing. Like it covers your whole entire hands.
Yeah, the product is called Titan One, which is an AI wearable gauntlet.
I love this already.
Okay, it's supposed to be this cybernetic forearm made of aluminum and nylon spandex, and then worn.
I like how someone is working out with it.
Yeah, worn directly on it. I don't know how heavy it is, but the cool thing about it, it has a snap-on rail, so you can. There's a system where you are able to change modules, ranging from flashlights, pepper spray, action cameras.
Pepper spray?
Yeah. Smartphones, tools, earbuds, whatever, or even drones. You can even launch a drone from your forearm.
Wow.
It features an onboard AMOLED display, which is 2.4 inch, which will give you real-time notifications, messaging, fitness metrics if you want to run with it, and also module controls.
Imagine playing pickleball with this.
Yeah. So what's
It
interesting?
looks too good to be true. Sure or not?
It is. It has been funded.
I don't believe.
It's funded on Kickstarter.
Wow.
They're going to make this. What's interesting, is it houses a localized offline AI that is built on a hard drive. So it's called Tennis with 64 gigabytes of memory that will process queries in 2 to 8 seconds directly on device without Wi-Fi or any connection.
That is
really cool.
believable, and yes, that's really cool. Yeah. But
I don't know. You look super, super impressed. Would you actually wear something so big?
yes, I would.
Wow.
I would. Because it looks like an Iron Man piece, and at the same time,
What you miss is the suit.
Yeah, that's true. But I like the idea, but I still don't believe it's true. But yes, I can see the website which says that we went live on Kickstarter in February 26, 2026, raised over 100,000, only 100,000. In the first 2 days. Got it.
You know what? You should take the leap and pre-book for $2.
I need to sell Adam Lobo Media Group after that.
It's only $2 to book it. It will cost because it's kind of made to order and you can customize, $260 to $580. The AI is sold separately, which is $115. It comes like
so that means the max price you're going to pay for this is $580 USD.
Yeah, which is not bad, right?
That's really not bad. I thought it's going to cost at least 1,000 or 2,000 USD.
So
let's just go to xe.com.
Take the leap. It's only $2 to book it.
Okay, I'm booking it.
All right, cool.
Okay, there you go.
We're going to do a review.
Okay, I want to see. So if it's 580, so 580...
It's about $2,000-ish.
Okay, 580 to MYR. MYR is exactly the other side. Okay. Yeah, about 2,000 ringgit.
Yeah.
That's okay,
but my question to you, what would you use it for?
I will just bring it out. I'll bring it out and just walk around and let people see.
You look like you're cosplaying for Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. I like the amount of screens on it. And I like the modularity, like you mentioned.
I don't know. It's just too sci-fi for me.
I like how there's a built-in torchlight. There's so many things that you can do with this. And I like the idea of having the AI assistant. So
Offline.
I like this. $2. You got my $2, yo. Okay, Abang, who asked for this?
Not me. Sci-fi lovers, maybe.
I didn't ask for this, but I want it. So yes, I think this is cool. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Okay, let's go into the Monday community poll. As mentioned many times on our podcast, it's episode 67 already, 67, that every Monday, Abang Vernon over here will be asking you a question, and we will be getting your votes and also your comments over here as well. So we will be talking about your votes, finding out whether or not it is really what we think that you voted, and also to feature your comment in the particular channel as well. So Vernon has typed here, which is similar to our main topic, which is the fact that we tested 4 ex-flagships under 2,000 ringgit. And among all, if you really had to buy your hard-earned money with these 4 phones, because we have made a choice, and you have clearly made a choice over here, where we put it whether you choose between the Google Pixel 8, which is the elite AI and haptics but weak battery, the Xiaomi 12T Pro, which does seem to be the winner, with 200 megapixel camera, 120 watts charging, and of course the fact that it's a very powerful phone for the price, the HUAWEI P40 Pro Plus, and also the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. Unfortunately, the S10 Plus got the lowest vote. I think if it wasn't
It's
for
not surprising.
the no 5G and the no Bixby button going to fall off, or I honestly think that
flaw.
I think I'm sad that it's last, but I get why. The highest vote goes to the Xiaomi 12T Pro, which is 48%, followed by the Google Pixel 8. Also makes sense because software is king here.
Yeah.
And knowing the fact that it has the latest software, and our audience here on What the Click or even on Adam Lobo TV has been very much, very strong suit when it comes to software as well. And then we have the HUAWEI P40 Pro Plus, which is at 20%, and the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. So let's look at the comments here specifically and see what do we have. But before we look into the comments, Abang, I think you already said which is your choice.
Yep.
So your choice is the 12T Pro, and so it was mine. We have MDMZ says Pixel 8's design is just so attractive. Absolutely agree. It is. For me, I like this design even more than the current design. I like the whole visor thing, and you know how you have D-Brand creating like a Ninja Turtle kind of skin, where you have like, they say Raphael means it's red color, and then after you put it green, it's so smart. The current Google Pixel design is not to say is bad, but it's I would prefer to go with the older design, so I agree with him. And then Vernon says that the Xiaomi is honestly still impressive and relevant today. Totally agree. This is J3. Says Xiaomi specs is still a flagship level even for today.
Totally agree as well.
12, like right now is the 17. So imagine that. M Joe Music says, using the Xiaomi 12T Pro now for a few years for my Grab driving apps. Good for a second phone. Absolutely. But I would argue that this could also be good for a main phone. Because someone like Pravin, he always buys like 2 or 3 year old phones. Amil does the same thing too. So I think that this would be catered towards people who are always out there, even though you have the money, but you want to make sure you want to get like the best value, because you don't necessarily have to buy the latest and the greatest per se. And then Just Does Tech says Xiaomi is objectively the best out of the 4. So I guess your overall votes and our votes are the same for the very first time.
For the very first time, yes.
It does make so much sense on why exactly that is as well. Okay, so that concludes our episode of What the Click, episode number 67. In terms of the video releases, we did do one release video, which is the 4 ex-flagship. So if you want to dive deeper into what we talked about and to even show you some camera samples and a lot of things, you can also check out our video at our main site at Adam Lobo TV, or even on YouTube as well. Upcoming videos, there are tons. We are going to release our Z Fold 8 review, and also the Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 video, which was something that I wore, if you did not see last week, together with Izwan as well. And of course, follow us on all of our social media platforms to see and to get updated, especially on Instagram as well, for the Instagram stories and Instagram post. And with that, we'd like to say thank you so much for tuning in and watching our episode number 67 or 67 of What the Click. My name is Adam Lobo.
My name is Vernon. See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.